Oh, hey there. So, yeah, I'm just going through my wiring schematics here and doing a little final planning in order to get everything all situated here. So, give me just a second, I'll bring you over here and let you see what I've done. Well, how do you like it? Alrighty, well, here we are talking about wiring some more. So you had our big chunk of our wire harness that came across here in the original configuration from Painless Wiring, and then they split off this chunk right here with about 8 wires or so that are coming out that are separately labeled. So I've been trying to figure out what those are and where they're going to go. This pair right here has a label on it that says it's the coil and ignition. So that's going to come up here and made up with our coil wires from our fuel injection system. So those are going to wind up roughly in this area. Then the other two, the bigger pair here, are alternator wires. So those are also going to wind up on this side of the block down here. And that leaves this one that's marked engine section. Now the nice thing about this, if I haven't said enough nice things about this in order for Painless Wiring to start sending me some money, we should be getting close. But they have printed on these at the end here a wire number that has a definition in the book here. And if you look really close, you can read on it what it says. Now, there's no way you're going to be able to see that, but you're going to have to trust me. This one, for instance, says 922 oil pressure sender. So this is going to go down here to our oil pressure sending unit. And then we have a water temperature sender, which is either purple or purple white here, one of these. So that'll have to go in this neighborhood. Now, we do have a temperature sender unit here that's hooked to our fuel injection harness already, but we have another spot right here on the manifold. I don't know if I got the camera tilted up and down enough where you can see it. Hopefully you can, but right next to that is a secondary spot, which I believe will be, I'll put a water temperature sender in there, which will then go to one of these wires. And then the other wire here is an electric choke, which we're not going to use. However, as I'm looking at this, all of these wires are going to wind up over on this side of the block or up here in the front. So I'm going to, I should have done those before, I should have taken care of those before I got all my clamps in place, but these clamps can be undone and situated separately. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this clamp off, this clamp and this clamp, and I'm going to see about putting these back in that main loom to bring them over to this area, and I'll bring them out of the loom here, and then I'll come down roughly where my main bundle is coming down for my wiring or my fuel injection, and then we'll put it like, you know, it'll come down and we'll split it out from here and go where it needs to go. So I'll either do that, or if that turns out to be hugely problematic, I'll just go ahead and put this in a smaller piece of loom and come down underneath. well, I did have to pull the car back in the garage because it's starting to storm outside. So I've got the Jeep shoved back over here and I got the hood in the way and all that kind of stuff. So I can't show you everything I got done today, but I will give you just a quick wrap up. I know I kind of had the time-lapse stuff going while I was doing the harness, but I want to show you what it looks like now. So I'm going to turn the light up really bright and spin you around here. So here's how we look. I got 3 bundles coming across. They're all tied up nice and neat. They're not going anywhere. And I put this bottom chunk of the fuel injection system in a piece of loom so that it's tied up, you know, and nice and neat. And then I put a piece of loom around this chunk as it came down here for our oil sending unit and our other water temperature sender. I took this one and I undid the factory piece, which was about maybe like this 1/2 inch loom. And I put a piece of 3/4 there. And then what I did is, the reason I did that is I put this wire that's coming out of the fuel injection system inside of that with the other wiring. And I also put the blower motor wire in there and left it in the loom until just right down here. I pulled it out just, you know, close to where it's got a hook to that blower. I have now got my O2 sensor in for good down there on the header. I can't really get to it right now to show you that, but now I've got my working length here, and this is going to this connector right here. So I have plenty of slack here, so I'll have to tie some of that up. And then I've got my fuel pump, or my fuel line here, which I'm ready to get laying that out. And again, remember there's this wire that came out of the EFI harness, that's the fuel pump, and that's now going back with its factory connector on it. And the lengthwise, that wound up just about right over the center of that transfer case cross member under there. So I will cut down the wire, the raw wire that I put in, because I ran that clear to the front here. I'll be able to kind of back that off a little bit, put a connector on it, but that connector will be over that transfer case plate, so that'll be good. That'll be well protected. And then we're going to swing over here to the other side for a minute. So on this side, hang on, I got to step over a cord here. So on this side, I put a loom around our reverse and four-wheel drive indicator pigtail, and I have it right now temporarily just with a zip strip here kind of held to this other one. But I believe I kind of like the way that's routing there, so I think that will probably be able to go down there. And I might change this one connector out, or this bracket, with a 1-inch bracket. That's currently a 3/4, but a 1-inch would hold both of these in the same bracket, and it would be all nice and tied up. Here's our hood light, which I don't know if I'll be able to find one of those, because as I understand it, that light has a little mercury switch in it. So when it tilts the hood up, when you tilted the hood up, the mercury switch closed the contacts, the light came on. When you tilt it back down, the contact opened and the light went out. So not sure if we'll be able to find one of those. We may not be able to use that under hood light there. So for now, I just have it kind of stuffed in there. And then you'll notice I'm still not connected over here. You know, I've got like 3 brackets on this thing, but I have not hooked any up. And the reason I haven't hooked them up is because of that hole right there that I got my finger in right now. That is the hole that needs a grommet in it. And then the tube goes through there for the windshield washer. And I need to get that in there before I tie this down, because this is kind of covering that hole up a little bit. So there's no sense fighting that, you know, trying to get that grommet in there. So I got to track down the grommet and a piece of water line to stick in there to run our windshield washers. But I think this looks okay. You know, I'm not thrilled with the 3 big chunks of wiring in the back there, but they certainly aren't going anywhere. So it ought to survive all right. And hold on, I'm coming over here. I'm starting to feel like maybe the spot for my pressure regulator for the fuel system is kind of like right here. There's nothing there except my outlet for my fuel, or my hot water return for the to come over here to the heater core. I have ordered one of those, the fitting that goes down in there, and it should be here next week. And then I can get that in place and see how that's all gonna line out. And then I'll see how much room I've got there, see if that's gonna work for my fuel pressure regulator. And if so, then I may just bring the fuel line right up here, come across, like up here, come across, go in, come out, maybe come around this way to get to our inlet here. But we'll see. I've been leaving the fuel line intentionally to the end so I can kind of get it where I want it. And I do have to tie up my breather lines a little bit down here, but I have a plan for that as well. I think they'll be kind of above this seam going across here. And then I've got my support for the battery box, goes up under here, the bottom of the box, and then down here the firewall. Now this stud right here in the original factory configuration had both I think the battery box comes down to it, and then there's a support that came over to the fender. So I haven't really got that lined out yet, but there we go. And then one last thing I did get in today was I got started on my ground strap. So I have it into what I believe was the factory hole for it here in the frame. And I did, you can't really see it, but I did take that down to bare metal and, on the frame wall there. So that's got a good, well-grounded contact. And now I just need to figure out where to put the other end of this thing. I think I can probably get away with putting it on that motor mount, and that will probably ground everything just fine. But I'm going to look around and see if I can't find where it was on the old frame, the old engine, and make sure I get it in a good spot, get a good solid ground there. I picked up a fuel filter while I was out and about today, so I am going to get my fuel, or I keep calling that a fuel filter. No, it is indeed a oil filter for the oil pump, which goes under here, and then the oil pressure sending unit goes right there. And I think this is one of the wires that goes to it, or this one. So yeah, I think this is going to be all right. It's coming along quite well. So I will really just tell you, I know I've said it before, but wiring the Jeep seems really intimidating until you just start doing it, and then you break it down, and it's just, you figure out where one wire goes and you hook it up, or you run it, make sure you know what it's going to do, and then you look at the next one and the next one. It's just like eating an elephant, man, one bite at a time. It's fine, but if you try to eat the whole thing in one big bite, can't do it. So if you look under your hood and you just want to throw up a little bit because of how nasty your wiring looks, I would recommend you do the Painless Wiring kit. It's a really good kit. It's so well documented, I can't even overstate that. And it is just so well laid out, I don't think you can go wrong. I don't think you can mess it up. So there we go. So that's it for tonight, I think. Got a few other things I got to do, and so we'll continue on here. I may at some point take you under the Jeep with me, and I'll show you how that O2 sensor laid out and so forth. I did have to turn the muffler just a little bit. I think I mentioned that O2 sensor is supposed to be at about a 10-degree angle, in there off of horizontal. It's supposed to be 10 degrees above horizontal. I think probably so, if there does get some water in there, it can't collect in it or whatever. But I had a little too high. I'm pretty sure I had it too high, and it was coming up to the point where, that muffler's so close to the frame or to the tub, and the header's so close to the tub, I was afraid I was going to be hitting the tub. So I took that whole mess down, and I did get my high heat anti-seize, got some around that sensor, got it screwed in there for good, tightened down, and then I put some anti-seize on my header collector on this side, and I have this header all bolted down tight. I haven't done the other side yet. But yeah, I had a pretty good day today. Unfortunately, I didn't show it to you, all of it, while I was working on it, but you're just gonna have to trust me. I did the work, and it went pretty well. So yeah, I feel like I had a productive day. This wiring's fiddly, takes a while, but it's worth the time. Okay, here we are. gas prices are skyrocketing. Inflation is out of control. The stock market is in a free fall. And I'm spending money on Jeep parts. What is wrong with me? I don't know. Okay, just a quick little box open for today. I got some paper, so that's always good. And so where I got this stuff from is a place called BJ's Off-Road in Gig Harbor, Washington. So what I got was some pulleys. I'll show them to you in a second here. But the first thing that I really was trying to get from these guys, I've been hunting around for a fitting for that water return line that goes in the back of the intake manifold that goes to the heater core. So there's that little dude, and it's quite nice looking. So there's that. That was kind of the big thing that I needed. I got an oil pressure sending unit because I didn't know the state of my old one. Did not want to take any chances with that. So what I have here now is some bling. Okay, so I'm just gonna fess right up and admit that I bought some more shiny stuff. This is our alternator pulley. Woo! Doesn't that look badass, huh? So, yeah, again, I don't know what's wrong. I mean, like I said, the stock market is in a free fall the last few days. The world's coming to an end. There's nothing good to look forward to. So I bought some stuff. Try to keep my spirits up. Man, that looks all right, huh? I might be embarrassing myself a little bit. So, yeah, I bought some shiny stuff. I'm just gonna set this all aside for now and circle back around when I can show my face out in public as potentially a more responsible adult than I currently look like I am right now. It all started because I was hunting down this return line thing, and when I saw that one, I was like, that looks substantial and well built, and definitely will get me a good 90-degree angle in there, which I need so that I can figure out where my fuel pressure regulator goes. And what can I say? I just got caught up in the moment and melted a corner off of the credit card. So anyway, there's that.